What's going on, guys? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. Today I'm discussing Marvel's new Warriors. There's been a lot of controversial talk over this new team and these new characters, and I just want to put my opinion out there. We have a lot of YouTubers. I'm not going to say any names that like to chime in on these type of things in a sense that they are very, very negative things to the comic book industry. And I'm going to just touch on why I think overall this new team is very positive, but I'm also going to be objective and subjective to the matter at hand here. So let me first talk about the fact that I was a kid growing up and was familiar with the New Warriors team as a team that was very, very relevant to the time that I was growing up in. And the characters were supposed to be fresh and modern for the early 90s, right? So we always want to be fresh and modern and recreative in terms of our innovation as artists in any art form, whether that be music or film or comic books. So we're always trying to evolve. And I think what the New Warrior stood for, even back then, was just that. So when we look at today's world, you got to understand that we want to introduce characters that are relevant to this younger generation. And a lot of old heads always talk about, well, new kids aren't buying comic books anyways, which is not true. But let's not hate on comic book creators and writers wanting to adapt characters that speak to them. Okay, so when we look at all these characters, obviously there's two that are more controversial than the other, but let's pick them apart. And the first one that we could talk about was the screen time character, which is a very modern, like a gamer. What is his brain gets connected to an internet, sort of like a cyborg character, but very, very modern, right? I mean, this is the 21st century. It's 2020. It speaks to right now, right? Okay. I also want to talk about well, there's B negative, the vampire type character, Trailblazer, as you see on screen. Trailblazer, I have no issue with this character because the statement it's supposed to make is that our bodies don't dictate what we could be as superheroes, right? A superhero, especially a female superhero, does not need to be a bombshell supermodel, okay? They don't. And this speaks to the average person. That we don't need to always subjectify women as sex objects for them to be able to be super or to have superpowers. Um, so I'm extremely on board with that. We saw that with the character Faith some years back that was released by Valiant, right? The Valiant character. Um, Now I'm gonna discuss Snowflake and Safe Space. So I think Snowflake, excuse me, and Safe Space, just the names in themselves, are slaps in the face to those haters out there, or quote unquote haters, that are always in the community being extremely divisive with their rhetoric about agendas, right? Now, these characters are they're binary characters, as you see on screen, and they speak to the LGBT community. And here's my take. First and foremost, regardless if you like it or not, or if you agree with the lifestyle or not, the LGBT community is real and it's a part of our world. And when we talk about art in comic books reflecting the real world, it's only natural that these people that are out there should be able to have superpowers too, right? I mean, who's to say that, just because a large majority of comic book collectors are respectfully middle-aged white men, it does and they grew up in a time where most superheroes were white men and females. It doesn't mean that only those type of people can have superpowers. So we saw Stanley, bring in diversity in with more black and brown characters and more of a diverse landscape starting as early as the '60s. So now when you talk about the LGBT community and things like that, it's only uh, fair, and I say fair in a sense of a reflection of the world that we live in. Okay, I personally do not. I do not support the constant divisiveness and hate of people that continue to have issues with characters that don't fit the mold of what they think they should be, or a storyline that it doesn't fit their political views. Okay. But here's my take on this. I will say, I do believe that these individuals might need a slap in the face metaphorically once in a while, but I don't necessarily like the writer's take on specifically naming them Snowflake and Safe Space as a slap in the face, because I think that is almost stooping to that level of being divisive. Okay. I think it's saying, you want to complain about this? Well, I'm going to throw something in your face. I'm about doing stuff that allows us to work together and build bridges. So if I was the writer, I might not necessarily took this slap in your face approach. Not saying it's wrong though. I just wouldn't have done it. I just wouldn't have done it. But I will say this. The snowflake term in general has been such a hate-filled, derogatory term thrown at people that may disagree with other people for whatever it is, political beliefs or social beliefs, that to take that term and reverse it into a negative can be a positive thing. Because what's wrong with the snowflake? Snowflakes are beautiful. We're talking about actual snowflakes, right? They're beautiful pieces of art if you look at them under a microscope, right? So who's to say that calling someone a snowflake should be derogatory? So I think what they're trying to do, not only is it a slap in the face, but it's saying, look, you could call me this name as much as you want. I'm going to embrace it. I'm because you call me snowflake for part of who I am inside. But that part of who I am inside isn't negative, and I'm going to embrace it and I'm going to show it to the world. So there's definitely different perspectives on how you can look at this, guys. Ultimately, though, I do not think that these characters are a negative thing, okay? It is a reflection of the modern world we live in. There's a lot of people out there that can relate to these characters, and they will pick up these books. That is, if the stories are good. I haven't read the stories yet. I don't have the stories to base that opinion on. If the stories are bad, nobody will read them, probably, right? So let's hold out. Let's not be. It's just like the Captain Marvel movie where people bashed it before it even came out. This is going to be a failure because nobody wants uh, Captain Marvel, and it's feminazi agenda and all this stuff, but then it makes $1 million at the box office. Let's wait for the stories. If the stories are bad, the stories are going to be bad. I'll call them out, but it's not due to the characters in the context of the characters. Okay, if these characters aren't for you, don't pick up the book. There's countless other stories and characters that we can continue to uh, support and love. If they're not for you, it's not for you. So that's my statement regarding the situation. I welcome these characters with open arms. I think it's good that we could pick up books and see different ethnicities, different races, different religions, different uh, 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 pieces of our communities, whether it's minorities or LGBT. Um, I embrace it. So let's wait for the stories to come out to see if they're really good, solid stories, which I hope they will be. Other than that, I just hope that we keep continuing to not uh, teeter to divisiveness on one side or the other, and we can put our biases aside and just get back to enjoying comic books. So, with that being said, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not done so yet. Leave some comments, guys. If you disagree with me, I welcome those opinions. Just be humble, be kind, and be respectful. Again, we are all in this for the love of comics. So thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. And until next time.